David Wygant, 10-minute daily reality check, May 1st. Are you excited for 31 days of changing your BS? If you listen to yesterday's podcast, one of the things that I think and I hope that all of you got out of it was you're only bullshitting yourself. That's right. You're only bullshitting yourself. When you go into story mode about why something doesn't work out or how it doesn't work for you or it's not going to work for you, you basically are bullshitting yourself. That's all you're doing. That's all you're ever doing. You're bullshitting yourself on a daily basis. And it's something that we as human beings are masters at. We're masters at bullshitting ourselves. We're masters at telling stories. And we can change the story. And I'll share something with all of you. A good friend of mine had a addiction to wine. Wine helped him through a lot of things. He got depressed. He didn't like his job anymore. He was feeling not great about his family life, so every single night he would just get lost in a good cab, and he'd have a couple of glasses, and the story was that wine was good for him. Wine was a good thing. It was a good choice. It wasn't hard alcohol. It wasn't Jack Daniels that he used to drink. It wasn't vodka. It was wine. And he drank it for a couple of years. He gained about 50 pounds. Why? Because he'd come home, he wouldn't go to the gym anymore because he just looked forward to escaping into the couple of glasses of wine, which led to a bottle of wine a night. He got hungry as the night wore on because the wine and the sugar just made him more hungry, so he started eating chocolate and other things. And the next thing you know, he was 50 pounds overweight and actually extremely depressed. He couldn't believe what he did to his once athletic body. But it was all good because wine was healthy for him. He needed it. It helped him through many things. It helped him process things. It helped him calm down. It helped him relax. He kept giving wine all this power. The power of wine, I called it over and over again. Until finally he woke up and he realized that all he was doing was putting a bandaid over his life. And his life, instead of getting better from drinking the wine, actually got worse because now he was 50 pounds overweight. His doctor told him his cholesterol levels were up. His doctor told him that his blood sugars were up. His doctor gave him the worst medical report that he's ever had in his life. He realized that he was suppressing everything. He realized that he created a story that wine would help him. But in reality, wine was hindering him. It was keeping his depression. It was keeping his depression inside, is what it was doing. That's what it was doing. It was keeping his depression inside of him. That's all it was doing nonstop. Keeping his depression, making him feel worse about himself, making him feel worse about every other thing. He was a complete mess inside. Every single day, he was more of a mess than ever before. So his stories were pretty unbelievable. The way he convinced himself, the way he worked through his life. And then he found, after 2 years of being addicted to wine, where he needed to go to Alcoholics Anonymous because he was actually addicted to alcohol, he realized that his life was further a mess. What are your stories preventing you? What addictions do you have, and what stories do these addictions bring you that are actually suppressing all the things in life that you truly are not allowing inside? Think about that. Think about the stories that you tell yourself on a consistent basis, the stories of how wine or pot or how this or that makes you feel better. But in reality, you're just hiding behind a story because we have become masterful storytellers in our life. Our life is full of masterful stories. We tell ourselves stories about why we can't do something. We tell ourselves stories about other things. I've got another person who emailed me and said, David, I've been trying to get a job for like 4 or 5 years. I just can't seem to find anything that pays me what I deserve. And I wrote them back and said, what do you deserve? And they said, I deserve $75,000 a year. And I said, when's the last time you made $75,000 a year? And they said, 13 years ago. And I wrote them back honestly and said, you don't deserve $75,000 a year. Stories. Our stories keep getting in our way every single day. Why? Because we use these stories as band-aids not to confront what we truly need to confront in our life. You're in a shitty relationship, you give yourself a story of how you're doing it for the kids. You're in a relationship that's not working out, you give yourself a story that that person will change. The person's never going to fucking change. People don't change unless they choose to change. You have a job that you don't like anymore, you give yourself a story that it's a tough economy and it's going to be hard to find another job. Our stories are basically fear-based. Our stories prevent us from actually taking the leap to actually make the change that we need to make. We do this as human beings every single day because we're fearful of what may actually happen. We're actually afraid of success, and I want you to think about that in all aspects of your life. How do you fear success? How many times have you been given the keys to doing something, but yet you've come up to ways not to do it? It's a story that you have. It's a fear of success. This isn't going to work for me syndrome. We've talked about that on the podcast. It worked for other people, but not for me. I've got a unique story. And how many times do I hear that from people? People will email me and they'll tell me they have a unique story. And to be honest with you, I've heard them all. You can come at me with what you think is the most difficult coaching challenge of my life, and I can tell you that someone else already came to me the day before with the exact same issues. That's what our stories do. Our stories prevent us from actually moving forward in life. So, what are your stories? What are your stories? Write them down. What are the things that you want to accomplish? Because that's what the month of May is all about. It's about accomplishing things, walking through the fear. So what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want to accomplish in the month of May? What have you been trying to accomplish for a long period of time but haven't been able to do it? And what story is associated with that? That's causing you not to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. What story is causing that for you? Those are things that you need to start looking at on a daily basis. You need to see how your stories are actually preventing you and not helping you. I don't even want to talk about addictions or anything else today. Let's just talk about stories. Concentrate on the stories that you have in life, the stories that you've told yourself over and over again about why something doesn't work for you. Be more conscious of that story, because that story is the reason why you're bullshitting yourself why you can't do something. It keeps you in fear zone, and it makes you feel like that you are never going to be able to get something done because you're really afraid to get it done because you're actually afraid of success. You prefer to live in the failure story than actually create a success story. It's human nature to be afraid of success, when in reality, that's all we want. I can tell you over and over again that the universe is abundant, the world is abundant. There's so many amazing, incredible things that you can experience once you shed the limit story and realize that the world is limited. I don't care if you think that you were born in the wrong area, the wrong neighborhood, the wrong time. Your parents were this, your parents were that. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all stories from the past. And when those stories from the past are plaguing your present, you can't create a brand new future. Do you fear success? Do you want to create a success story? Are you motivated enough to do it? Are you egoless enough to admit that you need help, to hire somebody to coach, work with you, and get you through this? I challenge you today on May 1st, 2018 to think about your stories. And while you do, come back tomorrow. There'll be another dose of reality coming at you. David Wygant from davidwygant.com.